TYT Sports, we're gonna go really fast, but check it out. This is one of my favorite stories. LeBron James has some battles he's looking to fight. Did you watch this? There's a documentary about collegiate athletes called Student Athlete. Have you watched that?
I watched it.
It is amazing, but it's not surprising. I saw aspects of it when I was a collegiate athlete. Yes, I was. So none of it surprised me, but as he continues this fight and this crusade, he's picking up a few enemies. But also along the way, there's lots of things happening behind the scenes that have allowed this to happen. Case in point with Darius Bazley, who is an All-American high schooler kid coming out. So let's start with that. This All-American is Syracuse commit. He committed to Syracuse University to play basketball. He's a projected top 10 selection in the 19 draft, but he has decided to turn professional right away instead of going to Syracuse and signed with the NBA G League, who's looking to pay him a little bit. He told Yahoo Sports this. NBA agent and Clutch Sports co-founder Rich Paul, who's that guy connected with, called the choice of top prospect Darius Bazley to forego college and opt for a $1 million shoe company internship, the product of a broken system, saying Wednesday that the on-court component of the next 7 months was the one thing that we were missing. I'm sorry, I missed a little bit of this point. But that $1 million shoe company internship has the potential for $14 million. This is with New Balance, I believe. So in response to all this, first of all, that Bazley is not gonna, he's backing out of his commitment to Syracuse. Of course, head coach for Syracuse, Jim Boeheim, Jeff Goodman tweeted this, about the Syracuse signee. He was asked about this guaranteed $1 million deal with New Balance. And Boeheim, head coach, again, says, LeBron did a nice job helping his client. It is LeBron's client, right? So 1 second, let me explain a little bit more of that. So he connected him because Rich Paul, of course, is a part of LeBron's camp. He's also an agent and runs that agency, which is represents several big name NBA players. So that's where he connected LeBron to the whole thing. LeBron stole our guy and made him go pro, and now he can't play for us. LeBron responded to that tweet Jeff Goodman had, quoting Boeheim, and he said, "Oh, they big mad." Lots of laughy, crying faces. He's crying, he's laughing so much. And Boeheim responded, which would have been weird. I wouldn't have thought that. "Not me. I'm happy for him. I wish him the best." So this all fell apart. Boeheim is exposing himself. I won't go through the graphics, but basically he had a long quote about how much he doesn't think college players should be paid. Colleges don't really make that much money. He deserves the millions he makes because he's been working for 50 years. All that in a quick bundle. What are your thoughts? Who won this debate? And actually, who's gonna come out smelling rosy on top anyway?
You know, it's so interesting because it's almost like the whole. Like he has no problem collecting a check, and I'm taking a moment to use my words wisely.
Which he? Bazley or Boeheim?
Boeheim. He has no problem collecting a check. Okay, he has no problem collecting a check, and that's fine. Like, get your money. But don't stop these players from getting their money. And the argument that these guys, by the way, these older guys, the ones that are like, you know, athletes shouldn't get paid, the only argument that they have is these athletes are getting paid, they're getting a free education, that should be suffice to whatever. But it's so false, the narrative is so false. These guys are sacrificing their bodies, they're not only paying for your living, but they're paying for a plane. They're paying for so much that these coaches, the athletic department is making so much bank out of these players that it's long overdue. This is a fight that's been going for many, many years. You said it yourself. It's something that you experienced. So it doesn't come to a surprise that he's like, these players shouldn't get paid. But it's almost one of those where it's like, okay, well, you're probably hanging on to like the last bit of your checks coming in. I get it. You're frustrated. But it's something that's been long coming, and it's soon to come. These players are going to get compensated. Their bodies are on the line.
That documentary, if you haven't seen it, Student Athlete that LeBron was part of putting together, was amazing. I want to read this one quote, I'm sorry, then we'll stop, from Boeheim, because this really I want to give the specifics of what he said, which is number 50, graphics 50, you guys. "I don't think we should ever compensate players. I think we can do as much as we can for players. The cost of attendance is good, of course, to the games, as he's saying. They get more meals now so they can keep their meal money. I think those are all good things, and I think more of those things should have been done. but I don't think you can compensate players straight out. What's the salary? How much? You start talking about lacrosse and water polo because they bring in money and not as much as basketball and football. Hey, comparable. How about that? And also 17. You know, 17-year-olds that don't make money. Hey, I know 17-year-olds that are not athletes that went and did something in their own little business. They started early. You know what we do? We praise them. We go, look at this mini genius. He opened his own tie company at 11 years old. Hey, that kid is making money.
You know what's so funny is that he's like saying like, okay, well, we're giving you a roof and food. Like, what else do you need?
Hold your meal money?
Yeah, be grateful.
Oh, that looks.
Be grateful. You know what?
Really
if the players aren't getting paid, then the coaches shouldn't get paid because they're both on the field. They're both doing the same thing. They're both investing the same time. Why not? Why not take away from the coach's end? Because you know there's a role. You know that they're adding value to the team. You know what, coach? You need players for a team. Without the players, it makes no sense. What do you have? You have nothing.
You know the whole
putting on
purity
the
thing, like, oh, you're getting a scholarship. You should be doing this for the school because they're giving you so much. Why don't the coaches donate their time to this amateur cause?
It's the same thing.
It's an amateur cause.
Don't pay the coaches. It's the same thing.
That won't happen that way. Like, subscribe, give us your comments. If you disagree, then don't do it. But do it anyway. I'm just messing with you. Thanks for watching, you guys. We'll see you next time.
If you made it to the end of this video, mazel tov. If you want to see more, hit the bell and hit subscribe. Why don't you?